All right. It took me a little bit of time to get this together. But it's a nice, cool day today, 60 degrees. Well, Chad, the Iranian new leader, the Ayatollah son, has spoken. I know everybody know that by now, but he has spoken, and he basically is going to pick up well his dad left off. You know, that's basically what they're saying. But the thing is, what I know about those people, is that whenever they are attacked like that, the leader always shows itself. You know what I'm saying? If you remember from back in the days, any time they have been threatened or been attacked, the leader of that regime or country or whatever always show itself. If he's in a cave or wherever he's at, he's going to show himself. He's going to be super, super clean and the clothes they wear, because that shows to the people in their country that, hey, we strong and we ready to rock. So by him not showing his face, he has a lot of people like, well, hey, something must be seriously going on, or maybe that they're just pretending, which I don't think they are personally, but it's something going on. The reason why we only seen a picture and we didn't see a face. Usually, they show a video, you know what I'm saying? Well, hey, I'm here. Ain't nothing you did gonna disrupt what we got going on, and moving forward, we gonna keep on doing what we do. That's always their stance. So that's the only question mark that I got. Even though we know for a fact that they were struck, like him and his family, his dad, his mom, his siblings. He lost basically his whole family during this this U.S.-Israel attack. They struck whatever facility they were in. They took a direct hit. And that's what unalived his dad, his mom, his sister, and they say that some reports are saying that he's severe, so that he's really, really hurt, and some reports are saying that he was just like barely scathed. In other words, like a broken leg. You got to understand, when you take big hits like that, it's usually catastrophic. What happens is usually bad. But in this situation, there's some reports are saying that he got a broken leg and a couple lacerations. And there's some reports are saying that he's lost a leg, like seriously, like the normal injuries from these type of attacks, so, but we did not see his face. We did not see him in person. So that right there leaves a question mark. So we're going to see what this weekend is going to be real crucial though, chat. Because, if you listen to that translation of what the guy said, he's saying, hey, we're going to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? We're going to call out all the troops, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to do whatever it is we got to do. See, but you got to understand, these people have sleeper cells. These people have a lot of people that's ready to rock and roll. And the thing about them is it's called suicide bombers. They will actually risk their life to take out masses about of people. And then they say, all praises be to Allah. And then the thing is, when we talk about sleeper cells, a lot of people don't understand exactly what a sleeper cell is. But I'm going to explain exactly what a sleeper cell is. Everybody that remember 9/11 and all that back in the days, you pretty much understand what I'm about to say. These people are raised, their kids are raised for one specific thing, and that's to train. And that's what they do. They're taught this at a very, very early age. Very, very different than what we are taught here in America. Their families, especially in these sleeper cells, they are military. You know what I'm saying? Military, meaning that they eat, breathe, sleep. Quran scriptures. They eat, they breathe, they eat that. And then they train. Firearms training, bombs training. They really train, and that's what they do, and they train their kids. So you hear me talk about all the time on the channel about teaching your kids how to invest and stuff like that. Well, it's the same thing, but they are teaching their kids about attacking, training, basically boot camp. Basically, they raise their kids like it's the military. And they, not just their kids, but their grandkids. You know, that they have multiple wives. You know what I'm saying? And they have kids. You know, and that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? They train to, and then have the cause, whatever the cause might be. And they have these sleeper cells. And that's exactly what they do. And whoever is over the sleeper cells, you ain't got to worry. They'll live a normal life. They'll come to America, or they'll go to whatever country, wherever they need them to go as far as these sleeper cells. It could be the person that work on your house. It could be the person that you go to the hotel room. You think they're just a normal person renting out rooms at a hotel. It could be your landlord. It could be your doctor. It's just no telling. These people come over here and live a normal American life, but the main foundation is their training, and they are in these sleeper cells, as they call them. And that's exactly what they do. They sit and they train. They train their kids. They train their grandkids. They train their nieces and nephews, and that's exactly what they do. And they wait on the day. Something like this. Some of these people are in these sleeper cells, been in these sleeper cells since September 11, guys. That's it, even before then. And that's just the honest fact. You know what I'm saying? These sleeper cells were very, very popular back right up before 9/11 and all that. So if you think about it, we have 20, 30 years of these people training and teaching their kids about this, what they believe in. I don't have to go through what they believe in. We should know what they believe in right now. You know what I'm saying? We should know. It's the internet. You should know what their motives are and what they believe in, and they put it all on Allah. That's exactly what they do. I'm putting it out there where a ninth grader can understand this. And that's what they do. You know, the grandparents teaches the kids, and then they have kids, and then they have multiple wives. Some of them have 6, 7 wives. Some of them have 20 and 15 kids. Some of them have 30 and 40 grandkids, and they all training. They all military training, physical training. This what I do is nothing compared to what they do. They train their family military style. You know what I'm saying? And then the end goal is suicide. They train in bombs. You know what I'm saying? The ultimate mission is to eliminate the enemy by all means necessary, even if it costs them their own life. Anybody that's older understand all this from back when 9/11 and Osama bin Laden and all these other terrorist groups. You know what I'm saying? We remember all that. And those people will be right here in America. Some of them might be in the park out here. You never know. But they're training and they're preparing to go meet Allah. And their famous thing is, if you give up your life for the deed, in other words, a suicide bomber, guess what? You will be meted. You will be met in heaven with Allah with 100 virgins. That's what it sounds kind of strange, probably a lot of y'all, but trust and listen to the OG. That's what the teachings are. You know what I'm saying? Anybody in here that knows what I'm talking about, it might sound strange to a lot of people, but that's exactly how it works. That's what it's called sleeper cells. And they ready to activate at any given second. All they have to do is wait on the leader, whoever the guy is, to give them the word. This is like when they flew them planes into the Twin Towers. Some of y'all might not understand what that was all about. But all of this is all the same thing. They flew those planes into those Twin Towers. And if you don't know what the Twin Towers are, that's Wall Street. That is the fundamental foundation, financial economy of America. When they took those planes, those terrorists, what they did was 8, 9 times out of 10, they were raised in these sleeper cells. Their whole mission in life was to pull something off like that. And then guess what? They knew that they were going to die. This already was written. And then they use Bible scriptures. They use Quran scriptures to back it up. The whole time they're praying to Allah and thanking Allah the goodness and the graces that they done for them while they complete this mission. Just like that dude said, the property of Allah, that dude in Austin, all of us wrapped up together, the dude in New Orleans that ran down Bourbon Street and killed all those people in the truck. All that has something to do with what's going on. And also, another thing, the second part of it is that we have homegrown terrorists. Guys, it has went to the next level. The level I was talking about is mostly people that come from overseas, you know, and then they go into these sleeper cells, as they call them, terrorists. But the second element is when they recruit homegrown Americans. That's what a lot that's going on. A lot of these guys that's committing these acts of terror that's coming up here and there and everywhere. The latest one was in Austin, when that guy said property of Allah. You know what I'm saying? Homegrown, you know, American terrorists ready to rock and roll that's in these sleeper cells. All they doing is getting information, training, recruiting, and getting everything ready to rock and roll. That's exactly what they do. So these things, you got to take them serious, and you got to keep your eyes open at all times. And you got to educate your kids and your family on what's going on. Not be scared, but you just got to know what's going on, because that guy, you know what I'm saying, what we know about him, this is what we know about him. We don't know that much about him because he never talks. That's the thing about this guy, the one that's the leader now. He does not talk. We always have seen him with the Ayatollah. We always seen him with him, but he never would speak. He's a very quiet guy. See, that's the second component of what I'm thinking about him not showing his face and not publicly speaking like we know that the rest of those leaders do. You know, the rest of them gonna show, they gonna make a video and push it out to the world so we can see. They'll be clean, they'll be sharp. You know what I'm saying? They'll be inside a cave or something, but they be dressed like brand new money. You know what I'm saying? To show the people, well, hey, we're gonna show strength right now. But the thing is, this guy didn't even show his face or nothing. All we seen was a picture. So I got a big question mark when it comes to that, you know, because I know how they operate, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, the part two of the thing that I'm also thinking about is that he's a quiet guy. And we all know about dudes that don't talk that much. You know, all they do, they don't say much. They just sit and peep and watch the film. The whole time they listening and comprehending to what's going on, but they don't talk much. You know, everybody know people that don't really talk, but they just watch and listen, and they just sit back in the cut. You know, everybody know you gotta watch those type of individuals, and that's the type of person that guy is. I've been seeing him with his dad, you know, all this time, but he would be there just quiet, not saying nothing, you know, kind of act like Barron. Like Donald Trump's son is really, really quiet. You know what I'm saying? Kind of act like Barron Trump. Kind of weird looking, but he's really quiet. And, you know, and those people you really, really, really have to pay attention to, especially when they end up getting into power. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they start reaching a certain age. So it's a question mark behind the guy. You know what I'm saying? But if I'd have seen him on a video chat, if I'd have seen him on a video, I'd have been like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Now it's getting really, really serious. But for the fact I really didn't see him on a video, it's like hiding. That's not how they operate. You know, they want to let you know, hey, you set out to do this, but we still coming for you. You know, in that 20-minute video, he's if y'all listen to him, you know what I'm saying? Whoever's interpreting what he's saying, soft-spoken, you know, but the words that are saying are very, very, very powerful. He's not just calling for, pay attention to what I'm about to say. He is not just calling for the people of Iran to step up. He's calling for all of Islam. He's basically turning this, well, that's how they operate. He's not turned it into nothing. That's how they operate. They operate through Allah. They operate through religion. They operate through faith. They operate by what is being spoken through that Quran. And so it's deeper than what we in America is really, really used to, especially in these days and times. Now, the older people, the older guys, remember from back when George Bush was the president, when all this was going on, you know, about those different terrorist groups. We all know the name of them, ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and all the different names. This is just another branch off of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. It's all the same. It is all the same. It was Iranians and those type of people that were also included way back then that had something to do with 9/11. It's all the same thing. But like I said earlier, they breed and they train for whatever their mission is or what they ever think about whoever the enemy is. You know, if you listen to what he said, enemy is code word. We all already know who they say are the enemies. So this the thing is, you have to pay attention. You got to take it serious, because a lot of people was not alive or wasn't around or was too young to remember the serious threats with Al-Qaeda and ISIS and the Taliban. That's another one. This is just a continuation of them. And guess what, chat? They have been getting ready for this for over 20 years. And the other component to it is that these guys, which nobody's really thinking about, but these guys are heavy invested in crypto, Bitcoin. So in other words, they are way more wealthier than Osama bin Laden and the Taliban. Whoever's funding this stuff is heavy invested in crypto, Bitcoin, and all these cryptocurrencies. So in other words, they've been rising with crypto for the past 20 years. And these leaders are super wealthy, more wealthy than we could ever imagine. You know, and so they got money, they got resources, they got the training, they got everything ready to rock. And it's you know why? It's this, you know, the only good thing that we could take out of this is that just imagine if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was the president. Just imagine if they were the president. It would be a sad situation, in my opinion. Because in my opinion, it had to be a time when this had to go down. And now the other element is that now that leader said, we're not opening up that river. You know, that's the other component. That's the other part of the war, which I was talking about yesterday. That oil and all those ships are all cluttered up right now. And that leader said today, that son said ain't no way they gonna open up that oil passageway, that river that all that oil comes through. He said today, the main thing he said on there, that there's no way they're gonna let that oil come through. Listen to how the words and how he put it together. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna let that oil come through there. And he said that we are ready to rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? So we got to pay attention to what's going on. In my opinion, the oil prices and stuff are gonna go back up, because they're not gonna let that oil come through there. This weekend, it's gonna be this weekend, and this week coming up, it's gonna tell it all, chat. It's gonna tell it all. That's like I said the other day. I don't see why they would let the son take over the regime. It's gonna be worse. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be worse. He's stronger. He's younger. He's been sitting back watching his dad for 40 or 50 years. He's been training. He's been getting ready. He's been praying to Allah, praying 30 times a day, getting his mind, body, and soul together. Not just his mind, body, and soul, but also his kids. It's a whole line. It's a whole generation of this training that I'm talking about. While we over here going back and forth. See, that's another thing. And I talk about the art of war. When your enemy will get you, when you are divided. And America has never been more divided than what it is right now. America has never been more divided than what it is right now. And the thing is, they've been training for 20, 30 plus years, ready to rock and roll. They've been building. And now they say what? Now the bulletin came out that they are threatened to strike a United States state, which that bulletin was already out, Chad. We're just now finding out about it. But that bulletin and that FBI warning, the FBI already knew about that threat to California. We're just finding out about it right now. They knew about this in the beginning of the year. So the thing is, what happens next? It's going to be very crucial what's going to happen over the next few days. Very, very crucial. Let's say I've been on here for 20 minutes. I still got a little ways to go. It's going to be very, very crucial what's going to happen in the next couple of days or the next month. It's a lie. You're going to see if it's a lie or not. You better hope it is a lie, but don't think it's a lie. But see, that's the thing. This is a perfect example. Let's say that you've been going back. This is a perfect example. Let's say you've been going back and forth with somebody, right? And somebody come tell you, say, what's your name? Say King Phil. You better watch out for so-and-so because so-and-so say he gonna come kick your door in. You gonna think it's a lie? Or you gonna think it's a lie and then he do come kick your door in? No, you ain't gonna think it's a lie. You gonna be on your P's and Q's. You gonna hope it's a lie, but you're not gonna take it like it's a lie. A threat is to be taken seriously. That's what y'all need to realize, bro. A threat needs to be taken seriously. You know, just like in real life. If somebody threatens you in real life, you ain't gonna say it's a lie. If somebody come tell you that somebody's plotting to kick your door in, you are not gonna say, "Oh, he ain't gonna do it. That's just a lie." And then he come kick your door in and take everything you got. That's the same thing. You got to take threats serious. You know, you got to take threats serious. You know, we in America are so how can I put it? We in America are so relaxed, right? Not paying attention to what's going on. We always in the phones. You know, we're not paying attention to reality. But the reality is, if it's a significant threat, it has to be taken serious. Just like in real life. If somebody threatens me in real life, I'm taking it serious. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, he just talking," and then he come do something. I'm gonna take the threat serious. So these threats and all this stuff that's going on in America, you have to take it serious. Because I'm quite sure those people in Austin, right, over there on 6th Street, shout out to the University of Texas, hook 'em horns. Those people, those kids, because on 6th Street in Austin is basically a university. That 6th Street is nothing but kids. I'm quite sure if you'd have told them kids a week ago, "Hey man, it's a possibility that one of those terrorists might come shoot up this bar." "Oh, ain't nobody gonna do nothing, that's a lie." And then you go to the bar and then you get shot up. That's the same thing. You take threats serious. You gotta keep your head on the swivel at all time. Because when stuff like that go down, it's always something that's funny that'll let you know, hey, this ain't sitting right. I gotta move around. You might be sitting inside of a restaurant. You might be in a park like this. Then I see somebody doing something strange. If I'm on top of my game, I'm gonna make a U-turn and I'm gonna go the other way. I'm paying attention to everything. Ain't nothing gonna happen. That's when you get caught slipping. You don't wanna get caught slipping. That's what you gotta understand, King. You do not wanna get caught slipping. You do not want to get, so think, okay, keep thinking that. Keep thinking that. But if the FBI tells you, if the FBI or any law enforcement or anybody tells you something, hey, our report and our intelligence say that this is a possibility, you can't take that threat lightly, bro. You cannot do it. You can't take the threat lightly. You can't. You can't take it lightly. You gotta take it serious. Just like in the late 90s, ain't gonna be no home terrorists. Ain't nobody from America gonna switch and become a terrorist for the Taliban, and then all of a sudden we got homegrown terrorists. Same thing. We have to take these threats serious. And if it don't happen, okay, cool. It's called staying ready to keep from getting ready. That's what it's called. You have to stay ready. You got to keep your family ready. You got to keep your kids ready. Not saying be scared. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you got to keep your head on the swivel and you have to have a plan. Just in case something do go down and something funny happens, you'll be able to pay attention. Just like the guy, property of Allah, came, shot up the restaurant. You think they thought that was going to happen? Just like in New Orleans. The dude come run down Bourbon Street in the truck. a terrorist attack and killed 12 people. Do you think that they thought that was going to happen? Oh man, I told y'all that FBI say look out for homegrown terrorists. It's supposed to be a terrorist attack on Bourbon Street. Oh man, that's a lie. The next thing you know, it happens for real. And you ain't even paying attention to what's going on. In America, we so laid back, bro. We so laid back. You know what I'm saying? We so laid back, and then we ain't prepared. And then when something go down, then it's too late. You know what I'm saying? If something is going to go down, I want to be prepared for either which way it go. I want my kids to be prepared. Whoever's with me, we gonna already have a system in place. If this happens, okay, we're gonna react this way. We're gonna react that way. We are not gonna get caught off guard. That's one of the #1 rules of the art of war, bro. You have to take threats seriously. I don't care who it's coming from. If you threaten me, if you threaten my city, if you threaten my state, I don't care if I think it's no way they can do. Oh man, you know how far Iran is from California? I don't care. The FBI said it is a possibility. Be on high alert. So that means that you have to be ready. Even if you think it'll never happen, you still have to be ready just in case it do happen. You know, because guess what? Technology and all this stuff, it has came a long way. So you never know what they've been building over there for 20 years. While we over here going back and forth, while we over here being comfortable, they're over there preparing. Like I said earlier, they are very, very wealthy. They are very wealthy. While America been going back and forth arguing, you know, the red going against the blue going against the red, all these decades from way since when Obama was in office. Guess what they've been doing? They've been building. They've been earning. They've been spending less, and they've been investing. And they type of investing is totally different than what I be talking about. It's totally different. And I pray that what you say, King, I pray you right. I pray that you are right. That there's no way that can happen. But guess what? Technology has came a long way. I remember people were saying there's no way that everybody can have a computer in their hand. There's no way. We all had beepers. We all had beepers. There's no way everybody can have a computer in their hand, which is now a cell phone. It was a time, oh, no way they'll be able to do that. Also, humanoid robots. Oh, there's no way everybody's going to have a humanoid robot. There's no way. Now look, AI is right up on us. They already got humanoid robots that can do whatever you needed to do. You needed to cook your food. It's going to cook your food. You need the humanoid robot to teach your kids. It's going to teach your kids. You need the humanoid robots to cut your grass. It's going to cut your grass. But I remember as a time, man, ain't gonna never be no humanoid robots. It ain't gonna never happen. There are never gonna be iRobots in real life. There are never gonna be Terminators in real life. And guess what, chat? We are just about here. We are just about there. So with the development of AI, with crypto, listen to what I'm saying. With crypto and the element of AI, anything is possible. Let me say that again. With crypto, particularly Bitcoin, with Bitcoin, well, three things. With Bitcoin, with energy, which is oil, and with AI, anything is possible. And you got to understand that. I'm going to say it again. With Bitcoin, with AI, and with energy, anything is possible. It's very much possible that they could come with the technology to build a missile or whatever the case may be. It could be a robot that can come over here. Instead of a person doing the suicide bombing, it'll be a robot doing the suicide bombing. And that is where we are at. We have to understand that. We got to understand that. You've been watching HBO. Yeah, I've been doing more than watching HBO. I've been doing more than that. Keep thinking that all this is TV. Keep thinking that. You're going to see. I tell you what, if you think this HBO, if I'm still here and God still blessed me to do what I'm doing, and you subscribe to the channel and you watch the channel, and 5 years go by, you're going to see a big difference. And you're going to say, man, that old dude that walked around in that park, he was absolutely correct about what's going on right now. But see, what you got to understand is that I've been around, bro. I've been around. I've been into this. I've been researching this. I've been active for a very long time. So all this stuff is coming into tuition right now. All of this is coming into tuition right now. Listen to me now. Believe me later on Goody Mob. Hey, what's going on? Goody Mob, old school music. What is it you're doing? I'm exercising. I'm exercising right now. Buy American oil stocks. Yeah, yep. Buy American oil stocks. Exxon Mobil. Shout out to Exxon. But the thing is this, chat, since you're bringing up stocks now, everybody's going to be talking about oil stocks, right? But you got to understand, the thing about don't have the fear of missing out, right? Don't have the fear of missing out. That's why I say all the time on the channel, you have to invest in the companies that you know, that you like, and that you trust. You know, you go buy a Chevron gas. You know you go to you work for Exxon. You're a contractor and you're working in the Exxon plant, which is in Texas. Shout out to all the oil refineries in the state of Texas. Hook 'em horns. So you understand that water, oil don't mix. That's a Texas thing, chat. But the thing is, you want to already be in position. You don't want to be the one to say, dang, I should have invested in some oil stocks. Well, you're kind of late, unless you're going to hold it long term. But if you're trying to just make a trade, as they call it, and in layman terms, if you're just trying to flip your money, you're a little bit late. But if you're trying to long-term action investing, like what I talk about, then you're going to hold it long-term, understanding that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. But if you're just trying to flip, you're late. You should already be in position. I tell y'all every day, invest in the companies that you know, that you like, and that you trust. You go to Exxon, you go to Shell, you go to Valero. That's where you get your gas from. I've been saying it a lot. Oil is liquid gold. So we have to already be in position. You don't want to have the fear of missing out. Man, I should have invested in oil stocks. If you're late, it's called the fear of missing out. It's kind of late to do it right now because, if you do it right now, you're kind of gambling, right? Because all it takes is for the president to say something else and then it's going to dump. Unless you okay with holding it. That's why you have to have the mindset of long term. In other words, you can't be greedy. Because if you're sitting here saying, man, I should have invested in oil stocks, that's kind of like a little greed in you. And one thing about trading or investing, you can't be greedy. You can't. You want to be in the position already. When I say for years, invest in the companies that you know, like, and trust, you should be thinking about every company that you know, every product that you use. If you go and you put Exxon gas in your vehicle, you trust that the gas is going to do what it's supposed to do. So you know Exxon, you like the place, you like the gas, and you trust them. That goes up under the umbrella of investing in companies that you know, that you like, that you trust. That's how it works. Invest in Bitcoin. Invest in things that you know, that you like, and that you trust. Long term. Long term. That's what we got to understand. Don't trust BlackRock. Long term. That's what you got to understand. Investing is long term. And investing and trading is two different things. Two is different. As somebody came in here and said, invest in oil stocks. So now we're saying oil is liquid gold. We got to understand that. You know, a lot of people work in oil refineries, construction work. You should be invested. If you work in the chemical plants, if you work in the construction, you should already be invested, especially if you got a company 401k plan. Now, if you got your company 401k plan, you ready to rock and roll. So you ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing, chat. Even though, see, this the thing. When oil prices go up, like gas prices go up, right? The stock goes up. So that's why it's very, very important to invest. It's very, very important. If you got a job, participate in the company's 401k plan. Especially if you got a good corporate job, invest in the company's 401k plan. That's a must. Anybody that got a job, a lot of people that I know work a 9 to 5, but they don't invest inside of the company 401k plan. They don't do that. So if you're working for a company, they have to, and they offer a 401k plan, and it's a match. You got to take it. You know, you got to, some people don't take it. Oh, well, they taking $25 a week out of my check, or they taking $50 a week out of my check. I need that money. Well, no, you can't think like that. You need, if you got to pull that $50 or whatever that they taking out every week, you got to pull it all out of somewhere else. Maybe stop going to the club. Maybe stop going to Jack in the Box. Maybe stop buying cigarettes. Maybe stop buying Don Julio. But you got to participate in the company 401k plan, because majority of them, whatever you put in, they match it 100%. You put in 50, they put in 50 with you, or 25 or whatever the threshold is. So you got to make sure, you know what I'm saying? We have to make sure, guys, that we are invested. Like another thing what Donald Trump said today, somebody asked him, I know a lot of people probably heard it. Somebody asked Donald Trump, hey, we all know that the river is clogged up. Well, if the river is clogged up, the oil can't get over here, and then they can't go inside to reload the other tanks. So Donald Trump said this. He said that, well, America, we produces our own oil. That just means we're going to make a lot of money. That's exactly what he said. Now just think, if you've been stockpiling Exxon stocks, you've been stockpiling Valero stocks, you go to 7-Eleven and buy I don't know what kind of gas 7-Eleven uses, but you go to 7-Eleven and you buy coffee every day from 7-Eleven, and just so happen you're invested in 7-Eleven. I'm quite sure 7-Eleven and all these gas stations, if they on the stock market, their stock is up. See, I just said 7-Eleven. Somebody should be on their phone finding out if 7-Eleven is on the stock market. Who owns 7-Eleven? See, we could do all these researches just right here on the phone. Somebody can go look up, okay, I want to invest in, I'm going to give y'all a prime example right now. Somebody can say, well, I kind of like this oil play. Let me try to see, do I want to go for Chevron? Do I want to go for Exxon? Do I want to go for Valero? Okay, let me see. You go right over here to you go right here to your phone, like what I'm about to do right now. See, these days, they got apps. You go to your phone, to your favorite broker. You pull up the app. You go look, like what I'm about to do right now. I'm about to pull up Hold up, I gotta go through my list. I got a lot of stocks on my list. Hold on, chat. You go right here. Or you just do this. Quick way. You go to Google, you say oil ETFs. And it's gonna tell you. All right, just like that. Then you go over here. You type one in. I'm gonna show the brokerage account in a minute. XLE. There we go. XLE. Quick. This is a quick tutorial. XLE. Okay. With the development of this computer, you go right here. Let me get in the light. You go right here. You go to fund. This is an oil ETF. Okay. You go to asset allocations. These are all the companies that's in this oil ETF. Look, all the big boys. We got Exxon, Chevron, Conoco, Valero, Phillips 66, Petroleum. And then you go here. You say, well, okay, let's see the performance. Boom. Since this ETF, since this oil ETF has been on the stock market 10 years, look at the percentage, look at the growth. 874% growth. Let's go to the chart, monthly chart. I'm excited, that's why. I gotta make sure y'all hear me. Look at this. Quarterly. This is a oil stock. Let's go. Monthly. Okay, this has been since 2004. Look, it was $1.78 in 2004. Now look how much it is today. $58. Let's see what it did today since the oil price has been going up. So see, that's an example right there, chat. That's an example. That's called an ETF. Instead of going buying them individually, you can buy them all in the ETF. It's a fund. That's how it works. So that's why you got to put yourself in position. You know, so if people want to like buy stocks right now, like buy oil stocks right now, I mean, and you try to flip your money, you're kind of late. You're more risky. But if you're trying to hold it for a long term, there you go. Right there. See, that's the thing. That's why I say all the time, you got to invest in the companies that you know, like, and trust. You got to keep your brokerage account funded just in case. You know, you got to keep on keeping on. And you got to invest in those ETFs. Real simple. I just showed you an oil ETF right there. It's a lot of them. All you got to do is do what I did. Go to Google. Boom. Ask Google, what are the best oil ETFs to invest in? And it's going to give you a list of them. I just did a quick, that's how fast it was. I just did a quick stock market, how to find a stock tutorial, just like that. That's why I'm screaming. I'm excited, bro. I am excited. Why are you excited, Stock Sniper? Because with the ability of this computer, which is the phone, I can be out here exercising, and somebody can give me a name of a stock right now, and I can go on my phone, and I can research it in 30 seconds and buy it right now if I wanted to. That's why I'm excited, guys. That's what we need to be thinking about. See, what we gotta understand is that, yes, oil prices are going up, but just think, if you already in position, that ETF I just showed you, think if you were already in that ETF 3 years ago, 2 years ago, think where you wouldn't be worrying about the price of gas. You would be excited. You wanted to go up even more because you know if it goes up more, your account is going to look lovely. And that's why when Donald Trump said today, if y'all was listening, when they told Donald Trump that they're not going to open up the river, Donald Trump said very important words. He said, "We make our own oil. All that means is we're going to make a whole lot of money." So let's think you got 100 shares of Exxon, 100 shares of Valero, 200 shares of Exxon. You've been stockpiling. You've been doing what I've been talking about since I started this YouTube channel. Every week, you've been buying your favorite stocks. I say it almost every day. I've been saying that since I had this channel. Invest in the companies that you know, like, and trust. Find you a good ETF. That way you can have them all like a portfolio investment fund. I just showed you one right there. You know, if I went quick, go back and check it out. It has all these oil stocks in one ETF. XLE, I think that was the name of it. But it has Exxon in there, Phillips 66, Valero, Shell, Conoco, and many, many more. That was only 10. So that's the thing. And that's the thing that I got off what Donald Trump said today. They don't care if the oil prices go up, Chad. I mean, that's the reality. They don't care. Why they don't care, Stock Sniper? Because they already invested in those companies. They're already there. And guess what? Soon as they get the word, okay, we about to get ready to go to war, guess what? Or whatever the case may be, they're going to load the boat. And they're going to ride it up. And they're going to take some off. And then they're going to keep some for long term. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. But see, the thing is this. Most of us are in a consumer mindset, a consumer way of thinking. But once you start investing, I don't care if it's one stock. Once you start investing, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start thinking differently. If you buy the iPhone, you're going to start thinking differently if you start buying Apple stocks, guys. You're going to think differently. You're going to go to the Apple store, then you ain't going to be trying to look to see how, you're going to be looking at it different. Because if you own the stock, you are a shareholder, meaning that you are a silent owner of the business. I don't care if you own one share. If you own, let's say you like Apple, you buy one Apple share. Now, you own, it might be a small portion of the pie, but you are a silent owner of that company. That's just how it is. It's not just a stock. You are an owner of the company. And if you buy it every week, every 2 weeks, every month, and you do this for 10 years, now you got 300 shares stacked up or whatever, maybe more, whatever. I'm just talking because some people be like, oh, only people that's gonna make the money are the people at the top. No, you gotta start somewhere and you gotta stockpile it. Some people can afford to buy 10 shares a month. Some people can say, well, forget it. I'm a risk spend less and I'm putting everything in the stock market for long term, and I'm gonna live on minimum or I'm gonna spend as less money as possible, and I'm going to invest as much as possible, aggressively, you know, and then they sit on it and they say, well, hey, these are the companies that I know, like, and trust. I use them every single day. I like the product. I go to the store, that store particularly every single day. You feel a little bit better about what your investment is. Like for instance, if you're on Apple right now, we on Google, YouTube, Netflix is doing amazing things right now. Guess what? Those are great investments. And you hold them. Long term, you hold them for your kids and your grandkids. You keep them in the family. And then if you want to take some off the table, you take some off the table. But you got to keep your portfolio going and going and going. That's just how it works. That's how it goes. That right there is also a hedge against inflation. Then you ain't worrying about the price of eggs. You're not worrying about rent going up. You're not worrying about gas going up. You're not worrying about those things. It's called prepare. You start preparing yourself. And it starts with one share at a time. It's easy. And what I love about it so much, y'all, is that you can do it on your phone. You can do it on your phone. See, back when I started, you had to look at it in the newspaper. Some of you older guys know what I'm talking about. You had to look at it in the newspaper, and then you had to call the broker and talk to them on the phone, and they charge you a commission, and they do the trade for you. Now, there's basically no commission. You can get on your phone right now, download TD Ameritrade, download Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and all these different brokerage accounts, and you can open up an account, and most of them have zero commission. Like I said, it's 10 minutes before the market closed right now. If somebody on this chat sent me a company, and I look it up, the way I just looked up that oil ETF, boom, 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 bam, 31 minutes, and I look and I read about it a little bit. Well, I've been doing it, so I'm a little bit faster. You know, it's called muscle memory. It don't take long to get your muscle memory up. You know, just like we got muscle memory on Instagram. You know, we know how to go through the feed and all that, know how to do the reel. Same thing. Once you get muscle memory on these brokerage accounts, you know, then you'll be able to go through them like I just did, or even faster, because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So you'll probably be quicker than me, especially some of you younger guys. And then you'll get it real quick, boom, boom, bam. And I could jump in right now while I'm exercising, while I'm on talking live, just like I just showed y'all that oil ETF, I could pull the trigger right now. That's what I'm so excited about. That's why I'm so excited. Thank God to whoever invented this great cell phone and these great apps, especially these investment apps. And I can sit here and trade stocks in the park in this beautiful day in my city and do exactly what I do. And also have some for long term. That's how it works. Now, the guy came in here and brought up stocks, and it kind of, you know, it went that way, but he's absolutely correct. Invest in oil stocks. Only thing about that, if you're looking to flip a quick buck, it's kind of late, you know, because as you can see it, I showed y'all, it's at the top. So if you were going to say, well, okay, I'm going to take $500 or $1,000 and I'm going to invest in ExxonMobil, you know, thinking it's going to go up a little ways, you have to understand it. It might turn red, wild stock sniper, because it's already at the top. You know what I'm saying? It's already at the top. So you have to say, well, okay, I just hold it a little bit longer. That's why I always say that when you are investing, you got to look at it long term. You have to think of it as a long-term thing. That, well, okay, it ain't for me, it's for my kids and grandkids. That's how you got to train your mind of thought, because you can get into a stock and then all of a sudden it go red, and then you be like, dang, you got to, you know, you can't be greedy, because it is called investing for a reason. It's like if you buy a house, you know what I'm saying? You buy an 18-wheeler, you know, you hope that you come into profit right now, but if it don't, you understand that, hey, it's time to shine. And I'm holding this company long term because I am a investor. I'm not trying to be greedy, you know. And then another thing is a bad thing to do. They say, well, dang, I knew I should have invested into these oil stocks. That's the fear of missing out. That's the number 2 rule when it comes to all of this. You can't have the fear of missing out. That right there is a sign of greed. You know, you can't do that. You can't have that type of mindset. You got to have the mindset of a long-term action. You know, like trading, that's something totally different, and you don't want to have the fear of missing out when it comes to trading. But the thing is invest into the companies that you already know, like, and trust, and find out an ETF, or if you want to buy those companies individually and really stockpile your portfolio. You gotta, the first place to start is the companies that you already know, you already like, and you already trust. That's how you do it, you know. And you can start with the things that you use every single day. You know you like going to Exxon. You know you go to Chevron. You know you like 7-Eleven coffee. You know you like Exxon coffee. You know you, whatever the case may be. You know you like going to McDonald's. You know you like Jordans. You know you like Don Julio. Don Julio's on the stock market, by the way. You know you like whatever, whatever. You know you like Polo and Hilfiger. You know you like Hennessy. It's just everything you can think about. You know, and it can't, you know, but you got to, like, laser it down, you know, because everything, you like Johnson and Johnson, you know, all those things, everything is on this great stock market, guys. All these companies, you know, and you just gotta not dumb it down, but you gotta laser it down and keep it simple. That's why I say you gotta invest in the companies that you know, like, and trust. And if you miss something, then that just comes with the territory. You just know, okay, I understand now. Now, when we get a discount and it pulls back like an Exxon, okay, now I know I'm finna make sure my brokerage account is loaded. That way, whenever we do get a pullback on these oil stocks, a pullback means that if the stock is $100 with all this mess going on, that when this is over, it's going to be a sell-off. People are going to take profits. That's just what it is. Traders are going to take profits. And then you want to get in at a price that you feel comfortable with, knowing that you're going to be in this long term. Exxon is a long-term investment, you know, that pays dividend. Exxon, Valero, Shell, all those companies that I just showed on that ETF. What I didn't look at on the ETF is, I'm quite sure that ETF pays the dividend too, but I didn't look at it. I just wanted to show an example of how to basically invest in a ETF, a oil ETF, if that makes sense. That's how it works. So that's how it works. Let's see. Marshmallow, listen to everyone, read everything, believe absolutely nothing unless you can prove it in your own right. What are you talking about, Marsh? What are you talking about? You are on point, fam. Oh yeah, I've been educating myself for a very long time. You know, my mom put an investment book in my hand when I was right around 8 years old. So I've been around investing in investors all my life. It's like investing in your own house, investing in your company's 401k plan. You know, what is not believable about that, Marsh? You know, what's unbelievable about that? Like, everybody should be participating in their company's 401k plan. And if you are investing, you should be investing in the companies that you know, like, and trust. A house is an investment. You know, so I don't understand what you're talking about. I mean, it's simple, you know. Now, if I was talking about penny stocks, then that's a totally different situation. That's different. You'll never hear me talk about penny stocks over here. No, I talk about the companies that we use every single day. The companies that we already know. Amazon. What you need to do your research on about Amazon. What else? Microsoft. I mean, what research you need to do about Microsoft? What else? Apple phone. What I mean, YouTube, Google. Right? Like we already know everybody in this chat already knows Amazon. Most of these people use Amazon. Most of these people go to McDonald's. Like what is believe but don't believe nothing. I mean, what I'm talking about on here, everybody already knows about. So I don't know what you're talking about, Mars. Everybody already knows about Chevron, Exxon. Everybody already knows about that. Like, it's simple. Most Americans that got a job knows what a 401k plan is. Most people know what benefits are when you complete your first 90 days on the job. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. What I'm talking about, everybody already know about it. Everybody already knows about Jack in the Box. Everybody already knows about Nike. We already know what that is. It's just a mind shift. Most of us don't think about. We think about buying an Apple phone, but most people don't think about buying Apple stocks. Most people don't think about it like that. So it's just a mind shift. You know, it's not complicated. Listen to everyone, read everything, believe absolutely nothing unless you can prove it on your own right. You complicating it. It's not complicated. It's not. It's not complicated at all. When you're looking at it like that, if you look at it like invest in the companies that you already know and trust, you know, if you wear Jordans, why not own a share? Why not invest in Nike? It's not complicated. That's why most people don't invest, guys. They try to complicate things. It's just like if you're trying to go buy a house, you're not gonna complicate it. You know, you know, it's something you already know about. Owning a home, you already know about that. I mean, it's not, don't complicate it to make it where you think you so much complicating it that you don't believe and trust nothing. It'll make you not even buy a house. The house you might be looking at, it might be valued at 100,000 as an example, and the people might be selling it for 20. But because listen to everyone, read nothing, you'll miss a equity home of $80,000. Just because, I mean, it's simple. It's not complicated. That's the thing. Now, if I was on here talking about penny stocks, then that's different. If I was on here talking about a crypto that nobody knows, then that's different. But we're talking about the things that everybody knows. Everybody knows Netflix, as an example. Why not own it? Everybody has a Netflix account. Well, most people do. Why not own Netflix? Like, most people like the UFC. Why not own the company that owns the UFC, as an example? You know, it simplifies the investment process. It's not complicated. It's not. Most of us, a lot of people will make it complicated, but it's not complicated. It's just a mind. It's just a thought process in how you program your mind. My grandfather, and I'm gonna say this and I gotta go. My grandfather didn't know how to read. He didn't even go past the 5th grade. But guess what? My grandfather invested in the companies that he knew, like, and trusted. And it's not complicated. It's just simple. It's simple. So, I mean, if a man that didn't know how to read, only went to the 5th grade, but knew how to count money and understood investing and understood that he had to stockpile these stocks to pass it down to his kids and grandkids. That's all you have to understand. If a man with no education, chat, a 5th grade education, that can do this, anybody can, bro. I mean, it's not complicated. I work at Exxon. My grandfather worked at Exxon, where it wasn't called Exxon at that time. It was called something else. Well, my grandfather worked there, right? And he understood. They presented him with the stock options. They presented him with investing into the company, which is the refinery. Well, he knew enough sense that once you invest in something, it is a return. And he understood that, okay, I'm gonna keep these shares, not for me, but for my kids and grandkids. And he did that. And when he retired and when he died, he passed it down. It's nothing complicated about that. It's not nothing complicated about it. We make these things complicated. We really do. And you know, but we make it complicated, but it makes sense. All you gotta do, you got a phone, you got a computer in your hand. All you gotta do is if you don't understand none of this, which is simple, all you gotta do is instead of doing things that don't matter, go research for an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Then you'll understand, man, instead of buying $1,000 Apple phone, maybe I should take that and buy me some shares of Apple. That's maybe what I should do. Instead of drinking that Coca-Cola all the time, maybe I should buy some shares of Coca-Cola. Yeah, stockpile that and save that for my kids and my grandkids, knowing that, hey, Coke pays a dividend. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Simple. It's not difficult, chat. We make things difficult. That's why I make them as simple. The things that I talk about, my grandfather taught me these things. A guy that didn't know how to read or write, a 5th grade education, taught me these things. Simple, earn. He said that every day. Go make a earn, go cut the grass. You want some money? You cut that grass, I'll give you an allowance. You make $12, you put 7 away. You better not touch that $7. It's simple mathematics. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, especially in 2026, because this stuff is on the phone. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know, I don't understand it. It's very simple. But then it's hard at the same time because it's about how you train your mind. But once you buy your first stock, I will promise you this. Once you buy your first stock, and once you have a system in place on how you're going to invest back into that company that you know, like, and trust, you're going to look at things differently. You're not going to look at things in a customer's from a customer's perspective. You're going to start looking at life from an investor's perspective. And that's just the bottom line. That's just the bottom line. You're going to start looking at things differently. You're going to go to Apple and be like, well, man, if they charging $1,000 for this phone, how much do they actually pay to make this phone? If they charging $200 for these Jordans, and we know they coming from China, how much are they actually paying to make these Jordans? Oh, nah, I think I'm gonna pass. Oh, China already told us that these Jordans come from China and they make them for $3 a shoe. Oh no, I'd rather buy, instead of spending $200 on some Jordans, I'd rather buy some Nike shares for my kids and grandkids. Yeah, that's what I think I'd rather do. I'd rather do that. Forget them Jordans, I'm gonna leave them where they at. Oh man, I like drinking Don Julio every weekend. Well, you know what? Let me find out who owned Don Julio. Let me go to my phone and do that Google search like the guy in the park did that's walking around. He pulled out his phone on the internet and he showed us real quickly how to look up oil ETFs. Well, you know what? I drink Don Julio. I spend $100 every week on Don Julio. Let me look up the company who owns Don Julio. Boop, Google, Siri, whatever the AI woman or man is on your Apple phone. Siri, who owns Don Julio? Duk, 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 duk. And it's gonna show you. Okay, now I go to my brokerage account. How much is Don Julio? How much is that company that owns Don Julio? Which that company is the same company that owns Ciroc. Let me see how much those shares are. Okay, instead of spending $100 on Don Julio, I'm gonna go buy $100 worth of the company that owns Don Julio. That's what I'm gonna do. It's called thinking differently. That's what it's called. And that's all it takes is a mindset shift in the mind. That's all it takes. Once we do that, then it take time though, you know, but it starts with one share at a time. That's all it starts with. That's it. That's all it starts with. Next thing you know, it's so easy these days, chat. They got it where you could direct deposit it to your brokerage account. They got it, some of these brokerage accounts have debit cards. You know what I'm saying? It's so simple. You know, you could automate it, right? Instead of doing it manually, all you gotta do is have it already set up where it automatic goes to your brokerage account. Every single week, whatever you set it up in the brokerage account and automatically invest for you. It's called automated. That's what life is, chat. It's automation. That's what this thing is all about in 2026. Automation. More than one way to make an income. More than one way to invest. It's called automated investing. You know, I like to do mine manually, but some people, the younger guys, they like automated. You know what I'm saying? Direct deposit and direct deposit to pay their bills and all. Some people, that's same thing with this. If you got, I will say this and I gotta go. If you have your mortgage automatic payment, well, I ain't gonna really say mortgage because your house is an investment. So that goes into the investment bag. If you have your light bill, automatic payment. If you got your phone bill, automatic payment. What else? If you got a Netflix account, automatic payment every month. If you got YouTube TV, shout out to Google and YouTube. And you got automatic payment, boom. Why not have automatic payments going from your brokerage account to the companies that you know, like, and trust? Why not have that automated too? You know you like wearing Nike. You know you like the Apple phone. You like all the updates and upgrades. You like Tim Cook as a, you know about Tim Cook. You like Elon Musk. You might own a Tesla. You might not. But you like the Tesla. And why not have Tesla already automated? You're buying a share of Tesla every week, automated, where you ain't got to do it manually. It's automatically draft, like your Netflix bill, like your phone bill. That's how it goes. Then you ain't thinking about it. You out in the park, you out here in the park exercising like I am and talking on YouTube. But the whole time, you got your whole investment portfolio and setup automated. So yes, I'm excited to the guy that asked why I'm screaming in the park, because I'm excited, guys. I'm excited about 2026 and beyond. I've been saying this since the end of 24. So I'm excited. And that's just what it is. I'm excited about not only that, but I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about exercising. I'm excited about y'all on this YouTube chat. I'm excited about the people that come rock with me. I'm excited about a lot of things, to be honest. I'm excited. So when you are excited, you know, and you know that things are headed in the right direction, you act a little bit different. You show a little bit more strength. When you run 3 miles a day and walk another 3 miles, do you excited? That shows strength. That shows strength in the inside and the outside. Not you know, some people talk loud, scream out of anger, but it's another type of talking loud too. It's called strength. It's called love. It's called excitement. That's what I'm talking about. Excited about what's coming. Of course, it's gonna be ups and downs and everything else like that. But I'm excited on what God has, not for just me and my family, but for you and your family too, and everybody that come rock with me on this channel. Yeah, and the one thing we gotta do, we gotta stay away from things that don't even matter. We gotta stay away from that chat. I can't say that enough. You gotta stay away from people that's always negative and complaining. You gotta stay away from the complainers. You gotta stay around people that's trying to go up, that's trying to move up like George and Wheezy, that's trying to come from the bottom all the way up to the top, not just financially, but mentally, physically, spiritually, all the above. You know, and we got to understand, life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We got to understand that. And I got to say that all the time, because even though I'm talking on this live, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm also talking to myself as well. What you mean you talking to yourself, Stock Sniper? Because I listen to this stuff. In other words, I am my own audio book. That's what I love about YouTube. That's what I love about this. I get to go back, and one of these days I'm gonna take all these walk downs and I'm gonna turn it into an audio book using AI. That's my goal, because I've said a lot of things on this walk down, and I'm gonna figure out how to use AI and turn a lot of these walk downs into audio books that we can sit and listen. Or I can sit and listen, or whoever can sit and listen to a lot of these things. And also, my kids and grandkids and my great-grandkids, 4 generations down the line, will be able to hear this, and I'm not even around. Just like in my office, I got my a lot of y'all that come rock with me at the office, I got a picture of my great-grandfather up there. My great-grandfather, you know, and as I think about YouTube and this internet and these videos, I only have a picture of my great-grandfather. Just a picture, and what people have said, and physical things that he left behind that we could go back and touch, like land and stuff like that we can go back and touch and say, hey, this earn, spend less, invest, teach it to your kids and grandkids is actually a real thing if you stay to the course. But my great-grandkids and stuff are be able to listen to my voice, to be able to watch my videos, be able to hear the excitement in my voice. And then what's so cool about it, the flip side is that every week or every month, all the investments that we've been passing down to one another, from my great-great-grandfather to my grandfather, to my parents, to me, to my kids, to my guess what? It's gonna go all the way down, and they'll be able to hear this. Yeah, I'm going in right now. They will be able to hear this, not just see a picture like that's on my wall in my office, not just a picture. They'll be able to see me and hear my voice, and also touch the assets, the digital assets and the physical assets. And with that being said, I'm gonna end it right here, chat. I love and I appreciate y'all. Everybody that's been rocking with me, I love and I appreciate y'all. This is the Freedom of Speech channel, and I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. So with that being said, chat, we've been live 80 minutes. Very long, powerful live. Go back and listen to it. Go back and look at that little search I did. That right there could change the whole trajectory of you and your family. That little 30-second or 1 minute that I did searching a company. I searched up a company on live and showed the inception, showed the whole ETF right there on live. That right there is an illustration, and it can change, that little illustration can change the trajectory of you and your whole family. All you gotta do is change the way you think. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. Earn, spend less, and invest. Teach it to your grandkids. Teach it to the people in your circle. And then come on this internet and teach it to the people around the world. With that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. I am the one and only Stock Sniper. To the next one, I'm out.